This is a continuation of the talks for those turning 60, looking back at 60, or looking towards 60, which includes a large cadre of people. I feel certain that you're finding this aging process to be very interesting. I know that I am. And you know, you may have probably heard that there are teachers teaching that it's possible that we can transform these physical bodies and have the capability to live far beyond what we do now. And we know that gradually our lifespan has been increasing, that we do know. But I think as we pass the midpoint, what would be the midpoint of our life, or could be the midpoint of our life, it gives us a new perspective. And at 60, I feel that midpoint, that's a very clear midpoint, because no one we know or we hear about on Earth has lived to be 120. So I can know that I can see the end of this span of existence. And so I'm comfortable with that. I can see that there's a certain demise of the physical body that occurs, and that's a physical process that we can do our best with. So do your best, be conscious of your exercise and your diet and staying well hydrated and so forth, the things that allow us to be vibrant in the body, energetic practices. We'll talk more about those things later. But this, what interests me in this idea of aging is considering, many of the teachers say that we are aging, the physical body ages due to our belief that that is what's occurring, a collective belief in how these processes go, how the cell, what the cells are, what the makeup is, what the DNA, and da-da-da-da-da. All the science that says this is what happens, and then it goes, it's all downhill from here. And that is something that we know, that the reason things unfold in a particular way is because of a group belief that we're involved in. And so I'm all right with that. I accept that. And so I'm suggesting that we allow the physical to unfold as it will, because it will anyway, one way or another. And the physical is the result of all our past thinking about ourselves, and there are karmic things and so on. So the physical will unfold as it will. So what I'm wanting to explore further is really about that thought form, the belief in the aging process, and that I have, and looking at identifying where that belief is in me, how those thoughts come up in my life about, oh well, this and that, and each little ache and pain, that it's moving in this sort of downward direction. So I'm working with what those thoughts are, and to purify my own belief, to clear enough space within myself at any rate, that I could hold the possibility of a longer span, and a span where I feel vibrant and alive and powerful and energetic to continue service here on the earth plane as I have been. So there's a book I'd love to share with you. One of my favorite books on this topic is Deepak Chopra's Ageless Body, Timeless Mind. And I just love Deepak Chopra. I was thinking earlier that, oh, maybe one of my bucket list items would be that my pie in the sky putting it out there, desires, is that I would meet Deepak Chopra one day. And I'm not talking about going to one of his workshops and trying to vie for his attention. I want to like bump into him on the street. I want to meet Deepak Chopra, just bump into him and have a conversation with him and tell him how much I admire his work. So that's just a little thought that's going out around this. But there are many wonderful things in this book about ageless body, timeless mind. So how to have, and there are wonderful affirmations in there that you can use to help your mind to really get beyond the thought form of aging. Although, despite the fact that the physical is appearing to demise. So, and we know this anyway, you know that your spirit self is just as it's always been. Think back to when you were a child. That same awareness, that same beingness is the same beingness that you've always been and continue to be in this moment. So spirit doesn't age. So that's a pretty easy task then, isn't it? And what I have chosen, or what happened to me in my experience of turning 60 a couple of years, when I was 59, I was directed to have this party, and I had a party for being 59 and celebrated 59, and I announced at the party that this was going to be my last recognition of a birthday, party for a birthday. And my friends didn't understand it. They said various things like, oh, no, no, no. Oh, you have to have more birthday parties. And others probably thought, oh, she's starting to have a problem with her age. She's becoming fearful of turning 60. Whatever they might have thought, who knows. But I got some pressure from people like, oh, no, no, you can't think like that. And they didn't understand that what I was saying was that from this point forward, I am saying that I am no longer going to track my age. Oh, da, 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 da. I'm this, I'm that. And do you notice that when it's your birthday, that's what people always ask you. They can't seem to think of something just wonderful to say to you. Wow, I'm glad you're still here. And you seem really vibrant and strong. Do your stuff, do your work. It's always, oh, well, how old are you, if you don't mind my asking? And I've always wondered, what is the interest in that? You can almost see the wheels turning, because when we ask someone, oh, how old are you? Oh, I'm 72. The wheels go, oh, well, she looks pretty good for 72. Or, well, I don't know. I can see how it's affecting her. I wonder how it'll affect me. And we're always like collecting this data on people, how old they are, and then how decrepit they look, and wondering if that's going to something similar, or we can admire them or eschew their path. You know, it's just such nonsense. So the way I choose to hold aging is that I simply am from now on. And I said I don't have a problem with people marking the day I was born or the day that David was born with, oh, how wonderful, how beautiful, we honor you, we love you. But in the case of, and I remember in the case of David where I was talking with a friend on the phone, and she said, well, what birthday is this for him, if you don't mind? And I had to calculate, like, well, when was he born, and what year are we in now? And okay, I think it's, because I really wasn't tracking that. So I propose that we set ourselves free of that need and desire to track how old everybody is, and celebrate their birthday as a way of honoring and loving the fact that they're still here, but allowing the idea of having to assign a number to it to become a moot point. Who cares? Now, of course, there are generational aspects to getting a sense for how old one is, but I bet you can tell someone who's in your generation and someone who's in kind of the later and the former generation, earlier generations, without having to put people into those categories. So that's the thought on aging and freedom from aging, freedom from that thought form. That's something we can work on, regardless of what's happening to the physical, which will be as it will be, but do your best with that. But where we can work is on our own thought form, and intend that that spreads into the collective, and as a collective, perhaps one day we will hold a different thought form about who we are and how we are being in physical, in this realm. So for now, go with that and go with love.